Saif Morrison, and this is This Week in Car Audio. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio. Tune in. We'll be talking about bass, talking about chips, talking about rings. You ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio. Yeah. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio.
Welcome to This Week in Car Audio with your host, the Judge, Doug Stockton, co-hosted by the internet and TV sensation, Mr. Jeffrey Fernandez. Good afternoon, sir.
Salutations.
Whoa, the salutations. He went all technical on us. All right. And our guest this week is, if you guys can't see, I am doing sharing this right now, but our guest this week is going to be Kris and Kyle Rhodes. What's the team member that you have?
Flex Issues.
That's right. It's Flex Issues, Kyle. Flex Issues. Let's see. What did... Oh, hey, he said, what's up to us? There we go. Let me get back to sharing the video like I was. Oops, I didn't share it all the way. Anyway, tell us about your team and what got you involved in all the car audio and that kind of thing.
Sure. So our team is primarily based in Central California. Most of our members are in Bakersfield, but a couple of us are kind of up to 99. So I have actually been into car audio probably since about 1999 or 2000. Before I could even drive, my brothers were heavily into it. So I would kind of hang out with them when they were putting stuff in their cars back at that time. And this was, before I even had a license or anything. So they're really the ones that got me into it. And the first noteworthy show I went to was probably in 2000 or 2001 at Cal Expo. And at the time, I can't remember if this would have been Autorama long ago.
If it was at Cal Expo, it was Autorama.
Okay, so that would have been the first show I went to, maybe when I was 16, and since then I was just hooked. And so from there, once I started driving, started putting stuff in my cars, and then I got into competing probably around 2009 or 2010 or so, somewhere in that time frame. And at first I was kind of a lone wolf, and then about a year or so after I was kind of into it, I met the Flex Issues guys and kind of took off from there. So that's kind of how I've gotten into it. Kris has kind of gone to shows with me since he was actually about 2 or 3. And so about the time he was old enough to even functionally drive a Power Wheels, we got him one and put some bump in it for him. And kind of the rest was history.
So Kris, have you been doing this your whole life?
No.
No? It sure seems like it. I mean, you're only like
it seems like
3 or 4, right?
No, I'm 7.
Oh, 7 years old. All right. So are you a Flex Issues also, Kris? Yeah. Okay. Remember,
else?
hey, remember, this whole thing is we broadcast it on audio and video both. So when you respond, you got to respond with a verbal answer, right? So you got to say it out loud so people can hear you when they listen back on the radio. All right?
Okay.
That's a good answer.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. So, Kris, let's start with you real quick since you're the champion in the family, right?
This is correct.
So, what championships do you have, Kris?
I don't know.
You don't know all of them? Have you won a ring? Which class did you win a ring for?
Mexicans?
Remember when we were in Sacramento last year?
Yeah, so he got a Power Wheels. He was in the Power Wheels class, and if you go to my Sonic FX page on Facebook, you can see a whole bunch of videos. Just type in Flex Issues Kris or Kris Rhodes or something like that, and you'll see a whole bunch of videos of Kris doing his Power Wheel thing.
So for those of you that are listening and don't exactly know what a Power Wheels is, can you guys describe it, Kyle, Kris, what a Power Wheels is?
Yeah, so it's going to vary a bit from org to org and how it's metered. So Kris actually has two Power Wheels, and initially they were both built kind of differently. So DB drag is metered about 8 feet above the Power Wheels, and it meters across the bandwidth utilizing the RTA mic. So with the DB drag bagger beats, you really have to be pretty loud across the whole bandwidth. Now, when we compete in MECA, it's SPL only. So when we're at MECA, what we'll do is we fire the port kind of into the kick area, and then the mic will be down there. So it's just like a Power Wheels or any type of, small motorized car for kids. And then it would be application dependent based on how you build it. But it's the same as the adults. It's some semblance of get as loud as you can within these rules and such. So
these Power Wheel vehicles, it's the ones that they have like at Walmart, right? You go to the bike section and you got all these like kid toys that kids can go in and like drive essentially it's like a little mini Jeep, right?
Absolutely. And so they are like $200-300, but what I would recommend for any parents out there who want to do it, check on OfferUp or Craigslist, because you're going to end up cutting it up and destroying it anyways. And they're on there all day, seriously, for $25. They're always missing a battery and charger, which we don't care because we're putting lithium or something different in it anyways.
Exactly.
So I highly encourage any parents out there thinking about doing it to do so, because honestly, Kris loves car audio just as much as I do. And he'll bug me sometimes when we haven't gone to a show for a while. So, check on OfferUp. They're on there all day, $20, $40, missing a battery.
Exactly.
Who cares? Cut it up anyways. So
you could even check them out on like the yard sales. I've seen some like out on the curb,
Oh yeah.
Just come pick up and
with a free sign on it.
Exactly. And you never know, you can pick it up and so essentially you put a system in it, and like what people would do with their own cars, right? You put like a speaker box, you put some subwoofers, a head unit in there. Is that right?
Yeah. So, some type of source unit. For a while, Kris actually had a doubled in his. But yeah, whatever fits the application for the class. I mean, you're probably going to have some semblance of subs, at least a couple of mids and highs. You're probably going to want to run some type of auxiliary battery. The factory batteries on those things aren't very powerful, but you throw even a single lithium bank in there, or maybe a little upgraded AGM battery or something, and can kind of get you going.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now DB drag, because Kris was the only participant this year on the West Coast, and on the East Coast we only had 2 participants for that. DB drag has elected to remove that from World Finals as a finals class, but they are going to continue to offer it as an exhibition class at World Finals. So they dropped the bikes but kept the Power Wheels, just because we as a group definitely believe in bringing in the next generation. It's awesome. There's not a ton of things. I mean, there are things that you can do as a father-son duo, but Kyle, you obviously have a love for the car audio that's deep ingrained for many, many years, and to share that with your son's got to be something special. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something special and unique when you're outside building a box and you see little eyes peeking out the bedroom window at you. And as soon as Kris sees me with a drill or with a saw, he runs out there and says, "Can I help?" And it's just something where it's a father-son experience that it's hard to describe until your son comes outside and says, "Can I help you build that box? Can I screw something in? Can I glue some panels in?" It got to a point to where toward the end, most of the enclosures on Kris's vehicle, he actually built himself. Now, obviously with the saws and stuff, I would do the cutting, but the gluing, the screwing, the painting, he did a huge portion of that. And so just from I guess you could say an educational standpoint or an academic standpoint, even just him getting accustomed to measuring and thinking and viewing it from that aspect, he's learning skills that later on in life are probably going to benefit him, even if he gives up car audio in the future.
Yeah. So one of the stories with my son. So my son was about 4 or 5 ish, and yeah, he destroyed a coffee table. It was a wood coffee table. So I'm out in the front yard refinishing. I go, you know what? You need to come over here because you're the one who messed it up. So I started teaching him how to refinish wood, and his friend from across the street, same age as him, they're within a couple of months of each other. They were born, they've known each other since they were born. He comes across the street, and my son says, "I'm busy right now. I can't do anything. I'm doing man work."
There
And
you
so,
go.
so he was refinishing a coffee table out in front of our house, and those are great memories that they're lost on the kids currently, but
Right.
as they grow older, they'll be a cherished memory that it's invaluable to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So SQ Sounds Barbados. Can you believe that, Kris? You got fans all the way out in Barbados.
Nice.
Nevaeh was
Yes.
watching here. And then also Tristan wants to know, are you planning any upgrades for your Power Wheels right now?
Probably.
Probably. What are you doing?
Are we doing the Power Rules or are we doing something bigger?
Something bigger.
Oh, he's
Something
graduating,
bigger,
is
huh?
he?
Yeah.
He is graduating. He's too big for the Power Rules as they're configured, and it got to the point to where they're not drivable. So I'm in the process of moving and kind of a career change, so I'm kind of tied up short term.
Mhm.
I've had some equipment to wall my Blazer, and so once I wall my Blazer, and this may be a year-long project, but when it's done, that will be the vehicle that Kris uses to compete. So he will have an adult car, and he will be using that to compete.
Compete in
What
what?
class? Yeah.
I'll keep that under wraps, but it will be walled.
All right. Sounds like a Cyclone demo build to me. Just
Maybe.
just seeing what the Flex Issues guys bring to the table at most of the shows, that would fall in line with the Flex Issue guys.
Yeah,
Tristan.
imagine like grown men, you're going up against them, and then you look to the other lane and you see a kid, and then you get beat, and it's almost demoralizing. But hey, you know.
And this wouldn't be the first time that Kris has beat adults, because there's been shows where we don't take a Power Rolls and I'll let him use one of my vehicles, and
Mhm.
he has definitely beat quite a few adults in some adult classes. So
Yeah. Tristan from Barbados says, Kyle, I hope when Kris is ready to drive, he's going to want a full extreme build.
Oh,
So you
sick.
will have to start the college fund and the car audio funds right away.
hey, that checks out.
Yes. Let's see. We got Stefan T.W.I.C.A, Team Mini hanging out in here. We got Tiffany, also from Barbados. We have Nevaeh. I saw her. Josh Tay2 from Reno. Steve Willis checking in. Says, Jeffrey Fernandez, you ain't got no kids. He don't know you, Jeff. You got a daughter.
I have a daughter. It's just I want the listeners and the viewers to know exactly what a Power Wheels is.
Yes.
Just by saying, I mean, I know it was Power Wheels. I think everybody, when they were a kid, all got a chance to get one and ride it. If you didn't have one, your cousin had one, or and you were riding in it. But a lot of people don't know nowadays what a Power Wheels is, and what you could do to it, and what like DB Drag and MECA has utilized, for these Power Wheels. So just giving them a heads up.
Yeah.
That's all.
Tiffany, that's that whole family from Barbados. She wants to know what the age limit is for kids to compete in Power Wheels. I don't remember. I do know Wayne wanted to limit it to where the parent wasn't driving the vehicle. The kid had to drive it to the lanes. So I do know he had that as a limit in there. Woody McDonald says, I can't wait for him in 10 years. He will love seeing himself as a kid on these videos.
Oh yeah.
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 Kind of a timestamp.
Yeah, so
Yes.
like my daughter was a softball player. She went and played Division 1 down in Bakersfield, and I recorded 460 games of her playing softball, And at
Oh,
the time,
wow.
she absolutely hated it. She,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know what you're doing, Dad. Blah blah blah. You know, yelling at me about it and this and that. And even to this day, every once in a while she'll call me Dad. I was watching one of those videos. Man, I was good at softball. I go. You don't get a Division I scholarship by not being good, kid, especially in the pitcher position.
Right.
So, but yeah, the like once again, you know, these are things that kids don't understand at the time, but as they grow older, they grow an appreciation for it. You know, you got Rick and Ricky, right?
Right.
Out in Fresno. And we were actually going to have Ricky on until you got back with me saying, hell yeah, we'll get on tonight. And I was like, dude, that fits the theme of what I wanted tonight. I wanted father son stuff. I was going to get Rick and Ricky on. We'll have them on another time and talk about it because, you know, this is where they were like 10, 15 years ago. I remember Ricky coming to the things. I mean, I'm not even sure he was out of diapers yet. That's how long I've been judging, you know? And now what? He got second place behind Dan Horner. I mean, guy
Right.
does 172s or 173s in no walls, and he was second place behind him. So, you know, those things are awesome. Um, oh, Tiffany says, we are paparazzi parents, taking pictures and all that.
Oh yeah.
So, anyway, with that, so I do hear you guys are. You said you were in the process of a mood, job change, all that stuff. So and you're moving to a little more centralized location for the car audio scene in California.
Correct.
So we may be seeing Kris hang out at more of these shows. Maybe running a base
Yes.
race ride.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
liking base race, Kris?
Yes.
All right. So your dad's gonna have to get you a little Honda with a sealed tent in the trunk, fold down the seats, and do some base race. I think that's what you guys need to do.
Go big or go home. If he's gonna base race, we'll base race with a wall.
Oh,
Base race
sick.
with the wall in the 129.9 class.
Just to be a dickhead. Yep. Excuse me. Just to be a jerk. Gotta check my language.
Yeah.
Uh,
Earmuffs.
earmuffs. No, that's awesome. Kris, do you have any fond memories from World Finals?
No.
You don't?
No. Do you know
It's
what I'm
just
asking?
it's just too much to remember.
It's too much to remember. Do you remember all the people cheering for you and stuff when you pulled your car in the lane and all that stuff? Yeah, there's a lot of support for the children in this in that forum, right? There's just I don't think I've ever heard a single person say a bad word about one of the kids doing this or none of that. Are you finding, Kyle, that there's just tons of support in that?
Oh yeah, Kris is far more popular than I am. When I go to shows, there are more people that knows his name than my name, and they will greet him before they greet me. And I think that's awesome because, it just provides kind of a feedback to him that what he's doing is worthwhile and he has people supporting him and there's people that enjoy seeing what he's doing.
Yep. Yeah, yep. Jeffrey, you got anybody out your way that does Power Wheels yet, or?
Power Wheels? No, not yet. I know when I went to finals, the East Coast finals, I got to see some of those. But hey, hopefully after watching the show, we'll have a couple of parents out there, go out and get themselves a Power Wheels and get their kids involved. You know what though? There is Ronnie Pruitt, Team School of Thump.
Right.
He does U.S.A.C.A, but he's been doing a lot of DB drag as well, like the freestyle. But anyways, he's a teacher at school where he's at, and I think I'm not sure if that's the subject he teaches, but I think he did in fact pick up a Power Wheels from the side of the road and brought it to his classroom, and now the kids are doing stuff to it. So I'll have to check that out and share it with you guys. But I know he's getting involved in it. It's not necessarily his kids, but kids at school.
Yeah,
his
as far as I
classroom.
know, if I remember correct, I think he's a math teacher and they do it as
Oh,
projects in the
right.
classroom. And
Yeah.
based on the pictures I've seen, I think his kids are perhaps middle school age, roughly.
Hmm.
But yeah, they'll do it in the classroom. And if I remember correct, he's a math teacher. So I've seen quite a few that he's posted on Facebook with students working on them. And
Yeah.
I think he does do the USAC as far as the org is concerned. But yeah, Ronnie Pruitt is definitely someone out in Texas that's involved with
Mhm.
it.
For sure, for sure.
Awesome. I actually was going to college for a physics degree because I wanted to teach physics in high school, and we every year for our physics project, I was hoping to build a car to compete at an event. Um, but hey, it didn't work out. Life got in the way, and I had to drop out. I only have 3 classes left to get my physics degree, but I'll never make as much as a teacher as I do in construction. So, that kind of went away. But my intention was wholly 100%. I was going to teach physics in high school, and
Mhm.
once I was teaching physics, we were going to use car audio to explain physics. And I think it's a great thing to
Mhm.
teach kids about how waves form and the math involved in the quarter wave theory. Like I said, I don't know how you design and build your stuff, Kyle, but I'm a big fan of the quarter wave theory just because I'm a little older school. When I was building boxes, our our programs weren't as sophisticated as they are nowadays. So,
Right.
So
um,
take advantage of that, Chris. Are you listening? So if you're in high school and you get a chance to pick your classes, hey, get some of those physics and
yep.
electronics classes. You know,
Yes.
and
Yeah, they,
and
they
then
might even have robot classes then. I mean, I
robot
know
classes.
there's
Cool.
quite a few high schools that have robotics classes now
Right.
for their
Yeah.
science class.
Hmm.
And that'd be fun for you too, right, Chris?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, you get to build your own
Yeah.
robot and then go beat up other robots with it, like battle
Oh,
bots.
that'd be so cool.
Yeah, that's actually pretty common. The battle bots thing within schools, like they build mini battle bots and do
Hmm.
that. That's like I said. But as far as car audio goes, just I mean, so you're talking. Let's say you buy the car straight retail, $300. How much money were you into system on that there, Kyle?
My wife is an earshot of me, so I'd rather not say. Um, when it was really built to kind of be at its loudest point. Now,
Hmm.
mind you, Kris is also on Team Crossfire. So
Okay.
Roger and those folks over there have helped out a lot with him, especially getting the power wheels up and ready.
Cool.
Um, but at any given time, there was easily probably $3,000 worth of equipment on it when it was at its biggest.
Hmm.
Now, because it is such a cumbersome thing to drive when it's like that, I would generally only build it up that much for the bigger shows. Some of the smaller shows, we'd have a smaller box on it, but at its peak, when it was running 5,000 watts of power and 20 PA mids and tweets and subs and all that, definitely a couple $1,000s worth of stuff, a couple of banks of lithium in there. So, yeah.
Well, lithium's not cheap. So I mean, so okay, so let's go to the other route. Um, Say Jeffrey has got a kid running around that he doesn't know about. Shh, don't tell his wife.
Oh no.
And Jeffrey wants to get involved in Power Wheels with his kid. My youngest is 21 and he's 6'3", so he won't fit in one of those. Um, Jeffrey's hypothetical child, um,
Okay.
what would it cost him, bottom of the barrel, to get involved and start competing with this kid?
Now, it depends on the org, and if you're doing something like DB drag where you're concerned with RTA, or if you're more into the base portion like a MECA.
Hmm.
But I mean, if you wanted to keep it as scaled down as possible, a cheap, head unit, do a 4-channel amp to bridge, the rear channels to a small sub, use the front 2 channels maybe for a pair of coaxials. And at that point, throw in maybe a small AGM, and you could easily get started for a couple $100 if you're trying to keep it kind of scaled down. So um, cost of entry is not too bad if you're just kind of keeping it simple at first. But there's been times where we've taken his to a show with just the head unit, a 4-channel amp, the 12, and maybe 2 mids, and it's been sufficient to have some fun and put on a cool show.
Yep. No, that is definitely. It's always a cool show when the kids come out and show up there and show off their stuff. I mean, it and I truly, as a judge, I try to make a big deal of it, and we stop the show, and it's just about Kris when he's competing, just similar to when we do a cyclone run. It really focuses on the individual that's competing at the time. And I want to make a big deal out of Kris. I want to make a big deal out of whoever it is competing, and try and foster their enthusiasm for what they do. Kris, so you have any trophies that are bigger than you, sir?
I think one.
Only one? Did you get super tall all of a sudden?
Yeah, I think so.
You did get taller? All right. I know we did have a couple of trophies that were bigger than him for sure.
Yeah, he has so many.
Hmm.
His room is full. We have some in the living room. The garage is full. So his trophy collection is catching up to mine pretty quickly.
So Kris, do you share this with your friends at school? Do you, like show and tell or tell them about this, or
No,
you don't?
No.
no,
Do any of your friends know you go out and compete and show that?
no.
What about your cousins? They know. Your cousins came to a show with you before.
He's thinking hard. I see the
Yeah,
smoke.
the gears are turning.
He's still looking. No, not in his memory banks.
With his peer group, he's in first grade, and I think if he told another first grader, "Hey, I have a stereo system on my Power Wheels," I think that would be so foreign to them that they wouldn't even grasp it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be an awesome show and tell, which I don't know if they still do that in schools or not. But that would be an awesome show and tell for him to come and just kind of demonstrate what he does to have fun with his dad. I mean, that would, that's like I said, to me, that's awesome stuff. I don't even know if they do show and tell anymore. Do they do that with you, Kris? Do they do show and tell in your classes?
No.
No. Those used to be the awesome times, right? You bring
Oh,
your
yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
You know?
Chris, you just need to drive to school in your
Yeah.
Power Wheels, bump in, and pretty sure you'll get the ladies checking you out too. And
Are you looking for a girlfriend, Kris, right now?
No.
Why not?
I'm only in first.
That's okay.
I had
When
my
you get
first
older.
girlfriend when I was in kindergarten.
Do girls have cooties? Okay,
Oh,
we're
they
still at
still
that
got
point. They still
cooties?
have cooties.
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah,
have cooties
yeah.
to me when I was in kindergarten. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I had a
Cringe.
third grader girlfriend back then. Yeah, that's how I rolled.
Oh man.
My wife is the first woman I've dated that was younger than me. So, and then I
Started off
married
going
her.
for the Cougars.
Yes, I did. I started early going after cougars. So that's with Kris. Kyle, what have you competed in? Some big accolades, possibly any of that stuff for you.
So most of my time in DB drag, I've focused on the stock classes. Generally the lower wattage ones. I've always liked 1,000 watt, 2,000 watt, 500, just because for me, I think the biggest challenge and the thing I enjoy the most is chasing efficiency. So for the last pretty much 4 or 5 years in my Blazer, kind of always been in those classes. That's what I find most enjoyable. MECA and some of the other orgs, I'll do a little bit more with the music stuff. But with DB drag, to me, what I have always found the most fun and challenging is the lower wattage classes. So I'll be leaving those classes probably. I actually have a trunk build, which probably going forward, I'll be using the trunk build when he's using the Blazer once it's walled. As far as accolades, nothing real major. I've gone to finals every year since 2017, and there's always been someone just a little bit louder. So I've lost to some pretty qualified people. So when you lose to someone like Kevin Collar, what are you going to do? They're just better than you. So a lot of seconds and thirds at World Finals, but for me, it's all about the experience and
Exactly.
just knowing that I'm close. Got to get a little bit louder next time. But I've had fun, whatever the outcome's been at World Finals.
Tiffany out of Barbados says their kids are a little too big for those Power Wheels. They're gonna have to borrow their godchild to start competing with them, which is awesome. So have you looked into the base race stuff at all or anything like that, Kyle?
So I've base raced a few times in my life.
Mm-hmm.
The very first time I base raced was about 12 years ago. And the first time I did it, I won at that show. And I didn't realize the person I beat was like a former world champion or runner up in base race.
Uh-huh.
It was SSB Tim, if you remember
Oh
him.
yeah. Yep, he was
So
runner up like 4 years in a row or something like that.
okay, so the first time I ever tried it, I ended up beating him. And then I didn't try it again for probably 5 years and wasn't good at it and just it's just not really a format for me, I guess you could say.
Okay. And that's one of the great things about our shows and whatnot is we try to have a format that suits most people, right?
Right,
Uh, in all honesty, you can base race with a single 10 in a hatchback sealed, and you can be
right,
129.9 base race, 2,000 watt amp, single 10, and a deck. And I mean that's like as bare bones, whatever. But you could be nationally competitive with something that small.
right,
That's why these shows are great. Anybody can compete. Everybody can bring somebody with them. Somebody that has just even the smallest amount of beat in their car. There's something for you to do in USAC. There's something for you to do in MECA. There's something to do DB drag. There's always a place where somebody can fit and come in and have fun. And as a spectator versus a competitor, we like to hit this pretty hard on this show, but you go to a different level of um, inclusion when you're a spectator versus a competitor. When you've competed, it changes your dynamic with the other people, right? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And kind of touching base with base race, the one thing that I do like about it, and the one thing that I feel is important for DB drag is with a newcomer, if they're in stock 5K, sometimes newcomers lose by 15 decibels to some purpose-built vehicle.
Right.
Whereas if they lose in base race their first time out, somebody like Brian Nyman hits a 29.9, but they may have hit a 129.0. So they're much closer to victory, at least numerically, and it's not such something that's going to just completely turn them off from the sport. So I do like with base race, like you said, somebody could have a 10 in a sealed box and be closely competitive with a Brian Nyman their first time out. And so
Yep.
the fact that it can draw newcomers, I think, is important for DB drag because it will maintain the competitor base to a good level. Now, whether or not I do it, that's fine. But it's important that we have people doing it, whether
Yes.
it's me or the new guys. So that is one thing I do like about the base race.
Okay. Um, did you see if you catch a question? Go ahead and hit it up, Jeffrey.
Okay.
Um, but with you guys, is there a show that's like more memorable to you, Kyle, or?
So my favorite show historically has always been Autorama.
Mhm.
Autorama, when Flex Issues was first kind of getting it into it, 2010, 11, 12, 13, those were always some of my favorite shows. And when I've gone to the Autoramas more recently, like it pains me to see a turnout of 10 people competing because that's not what Autorama was.
Yeah.
And I still go to Autorama, but man, those Autoramas, circa 10 years ago were always
So
my favorite.
we had 165 entries, the last one I did. So I mean, that's a lot of entries.
Right.
So no, I'm a big fan of the Autoramas. The my very first one, big show I competed was Autorama, and then I did Forbidden Fantasies down at Lake Paris. Those were the two big shows I did back in 2000. And back then there was only DB drag, and there was like I think the Lake Paris show had over 100 competitors, and
Oh,
there was
wow.
only like 6 or 7 classes I think in DB drag. So you had 100 competitors trying to place into 6 classes. Um, Autorama is awesome. It was awesome. I'm really trying to get it back. I'm trying to get involved with the people that are doing it now. See if we can't bring it back. And truly, um, Surf City was like a sister show to Autorama, right? They came to Autorama, said, "Hey, this is what we want," and then they took it back to Surf City and said, and that's what they've grown Surf City into.
Right.
To be honest with you, I mean, it's became the new Autorama, right? But I'm doing my best to bring Autorama back to what it was. I would love to see 150, 200 entries again on the weekend. It is usually Valentine's weekend, but like you said, you always went, right?
Right.
So, and people drove down from Utah, Washington, Arizona. Um, you
I
know,
went to a couple of them.
yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think Chemo shared a picture not too long ago on Facebook. It was when you called me up and got my trophy, and I had my daughter in the picture, and
oh, there you
it
go.
was it was a cool memory. It was a good memory. It was probably our first road trip from the SoCal all the way up to Autorama up there in Sacramento. So it was pretty memorable for me as well.
Okay. That's awesome. I mean, that's like I said, Autorama had a lot of things. I have a picture somewhere of my son getting on the mic pretending he was me, and he was like 5 or 6 years old then. Like I said, he's 21 now, so that was um, you know, that was then. Tiffany did have a question for Kris. Said, which Power Wheel setup is your favorite? Because you have two, right? So
Yes.
which one's your favorite?
Do you like the little Jeep or do you like the big blue truck?
Big blue check better.
Oh,
So
the
which one's
truck.
that?
So the big blue truck is the one that he used at the most recent final. So that's the one that's seriously, seriously overbuilt. And that's actually the one that he did a lot of the painting on it. So it's blue with a bunch of stripes and whatnot. So he did help and do a lot of the painting on that one. But that's the more overbuilt of the two.
Oh, so he's like daddy. He wants to go big.
Yes.
So when you say overbuilt, I mean, what are we talking about? Like crazy watts, big build,
Big box.
band pass.
Yeah.
Okay, so at finals, I'll try to remember what all he had on it. He had two banks of lithium. He was running a doubled in. He was running a C7 Crossfire C715 wired at half ohm on a C7 3K. He was running an 800.4 on I think a total of six Crossfire XS PA mids. Some of them were 10, some of them were eights. He had I believe four Crossfire 6.5s, a couple of super tweets, another 4-channel amp that was running, I think, a total of 8 tweeters. So it was pretty overdone.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Matter of opinion.
Yeah.
Just ask your wife. She'll tell you it was way overdone.
Oh, of course.
Oh, speaking of Crossfire, right? They donated a shirt and a lanyard to be given away today, right?
That's what you
Or
tell me.
or yeah. So right, all you have to do. This is for our YouTube side.
Yep.
You have to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll put your name just like we did last week on the wheel, and
Yep.
then you can get a chance to win a Crossfire T-shirt as well as a Crossfire lanyard.
Yep, and we'll drop ship it directly. The
Yes.
YouTube channel is This Week in Car Audio. So you can go right there and you can click on it. We are going to, what is next Sunday would be the 27th. So you have to like and share by the time I'm done with my show out in Sacramento. And then that way I can be ready when we do our show on Monday, when Jeffrey and I are going to talk about our shows over the weekend of the 26th and 27th. On Monday, when we do the drawing, we're prepared ahead of time, and all I do is I push the button, do a couple shuffles, and Bob's your uncle, as they say. So, but thank you to Crossfire Car Audio and their support of the channel, obviously, with supporting a T-shirt and lanyard. We'll continue to get things. I know DC was talking about putting some stuff up. Incriminator. I'm checking with Kicker. I'm gonna try and get Pioneer to give up a deck. I don't think it'll happen, but I'm still working on Pioneer, trying to get a good deck with them. And
Yeah, I think I'm
whatnot.
gonna like and subscribe myself just so I can be in the running for that Pioneer head unit.
Yep. So, Kris, what is your favorite show that you've been to?
Um, Probably the one that have the fast cars.
That would be World
Oh,
Finals because of the fast
yeah.
cars. Hey, do
On the
you?
drag strip, right?
Yeah. You
Yeah, on the
like the,
drag
the
strip.
the midget drags, huh?
Yeah.
The little kid drags.
We
Yeah.
spent a lot of time over there. He kept pulling me off to the side to go watch them, but it was pretty cool because some of the, and I'm not well versed on those cars at all, but some of those drivers were fairly young. So
Yeah.
I think it's putting some other ideas in his head for a couple years down the line, maybe another hobby. But
I believe they have a 10-year-old class for those
okay,
mini rails they call them. So, but yes. Uh, and you think car audio is expensive?
Oh.
yeah, I can imagine,
Imagine having to rebuild an engine every 2 to 3 weeks.
Ooh.
right?
Yeah, that doesn't it. I mean, I got me a race car downstairs and all that, and yeah, it's expensive just sitting in the garage.
It's expensive just to turn the key.
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
Yeah. When I actually purchased it, my son asked me, he says, "Hey, Dad, so what kind of gas mileage does it get?" I said, "That's not why we bought this car, son. The gas mileage is definitely not why this car was being purchased. Uh,
About a mile a gallon.
it might get
Ooh.
about 5, and that's if I keep my foot out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, real easy to do with a car like that, right? So, but no, the fast cars, that's cool. That's great. I knew Flex Issues was supporting shows down your direction. Are you guys gonna be supporting shows down south again this year?
Um, we probably will be. It's with me moving back up to Sacramento, it's kind of thrown a wrench in it. I tend to be the guy on our team who kind of puts stuff together and is kind of the operations guy, if you will.
Okay.
So we'll see. But being up there, I'll probably be more involved with kind of the greater Sacramento scene. But that said, we still have a ton of guys in Bakersfield. So
Yep.
as long as work allows, I'll be at as many shows as I can, supporting where I can. So
Hey, let's get that NorCal SoCal show going again. Those were cool.
absolutely, we definitely need to work on doing that again because the first couple times that we did that, we had some great turnouts. So it
Mhm.
seems like a worthwhile venture to continue pursuing.
You're talking about the one where you guys have it just at one spot, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we used to do a NorCal versus SoCal over the internet. I
Right.
don't know
Yep.
if you were part of
Yeah,
any of
that was
those,
me. Yeah.
Chris and Kyle.
So I remember actually I've been
Okay.
to a few of those and I freaking love those. One of my favorite shows that I had been to was the end of the year California versus New Mexico show. That might have been like
Yes.
2018.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
But man, if we can pull those off again, some of my favorite memories were from those shows. They have guys over there like Chris Munson that I wouldn't normally have a chance to compete with unless I maybe go to CES or something. And
Hmm.
then it kind of, opens some other avenues for us to compete against guys we wouldn't normally be able to compete against. And at that show, I got my ass kicked by Christopher Munson, which was fun in and of itself and just another notch on his belt.
Yeah.
But stuff like that to me is fun and is challenging. So I did really enjoy those satellite shows.
Yeah, so just so you know, we are working on a top dog or base race satellite show, and I think we're gonna go. I prefer the top dog because it doesn't limit anybody, and we can run it as an event, and everybody's welcome and everybody can compete because you can go all the way down to 199 in top dog.
119s. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, anyway, so Jeffrey and I were talking about it last week.
Mhm.
Was it last week? Who was on here
Yeah.
that we were
With
discussing it with?
David
Oh
McKay.
yeah, David McKay. So
Mhm.
David McKay and his crew out of Tennessee, they have a thing called Cash Days, and so we were talking, and we may just do a 3 location, either Texas, SoCal, NorCal, whatever locations we come up with, and we may just do a multi-location top dog, and it'll pay out cash to the top person, and um, but the great thing about those events is, normally when you're competing against somebody in the lanes, they are your adversary at the time that you're competing against them. You guys are great friends afterwards, whatever. But when you're competing against Texas or you're competing against Tennessee, You guys are all one team when you're
Oh
in
yeah.
California
Oh
together,
yeah.
right? All of
Mhm.
Texas is a team when they're going at it. Don't matter. They're all together. Whether they like
Exactly.
each other, hate each other, doesn't matter. At that point, you guys are all one team. And I'm guessing that's the part that you really enjoyed about that too.
Yeah, so we actually started a group chat well before the show to say, with all the California competitors, we need these classes covered. Who can do what? So
Okay.
even people that maybe it wasn't necessarily an adversary, but just someone we are neutral with or didn't know too well.
Mhm.
Hey, we need to cover these classes. Who can do what? Can somebody go up a class if you're needed in this class? So that's what I liked about it was it's almost like building a sports team where you're saying we need these positions filled. Who can do what? Whose build is going to be competitive where? And that was really fun to me.
Yeah. And I mean, I think Jeffrey agrees. I mean, that's every time Jeffrey and I have done it, it's worked out really well. Would you agree, Jeff?
Oh yeah. There was a time I think when we first tried it.
Hmm.
I think we were communicating over the phone as we were controlling, our laptops, and I think at one point, well, as we were on the phone, I put you on the loudspeakers, and
Yep.
we could kind of hear you in the background, and it kind of is as if you were there, kind of deal. So it was kind of cool. All those other times that we've done it, yeah.
Yeah,
So
and the way I do it at my shows is I bring a separate TV and it's just for the live feed from the other location,
mm,
which also makes it cool, right? So you can see the live
right.
feed from the other location. You can hear what they're saying. You can see what they're saying, and it works out really cool. Like I said, it's a great time, and I'm more than sure we're going to do it again this year. Jeffrey and I and McKay, Mr. McKay, I think just have to work it out. And
Mhm.
that's to be honest. It's just it none of this stuff just magically happens, you know. Just like your builds, right? They don't just magically appear in your vehicle when you show up to a show. There's a lot of background stuff that goes on and whatnot. So, Kris, what does your mom think of the car audio stuff?
I don't know.
Well, I'm guessing she thinks it's dumb.
Probably.
Probably. My wife thinks it's dumb, and I've been doing it. I've been doing it with her for 20 years, 20 plus years. So, and even when I met her cruising downtown, bumping my stereo system. That's how I met my wife.
There you
So,
go.
so she can't say nothing about my car audio. I was doing it before I met her, and she came and hung out at my car because it was bumping. Just saying. But no, that's all that stuff's really really cool. So what do you see? What do you see for your future right now, Kris and Kyle? What do you guys have coming up? Just moving and
Just
big build.
moving. Yeah. So I mean, audio wise, my goal is to get the Blazer built. I've been sitting on the equipment for a while now, so I need to get that built for Kris so that he can have some fun with it. And as far as class, I'm not too sure. I want it needs to be something that he can have fun with. If it was me, I'd honestly build a vert build. But if it's something for him, like I want him to be able to give demos and stuff. So it's going to be something that'll play some music.
Ooh,
So
sick.
yeah, just be able to hand him the knob and he knows how to run it already. And, he can pass out demos and compete with it. So
Mhm.
That's so cool.
hopefully that'll be something that's hopefully done maybe late this year. I hope we'll see.
Hey, let's see. Jeff, you want to hit him with the questions? With the question?
Oh, okay. I guess this could be for the both of you, or
Yeah.
maybe either or, Kyle or Kris. What would your definition of a bass head be? Your definition of a bass head.
What does a bass
Mm,
head mean to you, Kris?
Not the white
Bass.
guy on the corner of the freeway.
No.
Kris doesn't know what that type of bass head is.
Oh,
Cringe.
Do you have an idea of what a bass head means to you? No? All right. I mean, I guess to me, like it could mean any number of things, right? Um, one bad thing about our hobby as a whole
mm-hmm.
is some guy with a couple of kickers and a prefab joins a bass group and they down talk him for having kickers.
Mhm.
Well, if that's his basis of knowledge and that's what he has access to, and he's happy bumping it, that guy's just as much of a bass head as some guy with a walled vehicle. So
Exactly.
really, to me, it's if you have a love and a passion for loud music, whether it's a lower end system or some $80,000 system, you're still a bass head because you're still garnering the same joy from it, regardless of what it is. So that to me is just a bass head, just somebody who has a love for loud music and the low frequencies of loud music, whether that's 110 on 200 watts or some of these guys with 100,000 watt builds.
Yep. I, I
I
agree with
agree.
that 100%. Jeffrey, what do you got coming up this weekend? Tell us about you.
So this weekend, as you could see behind me, uh, Crossfire Car Audio headquarters, we're doing a DB Drag and USAC event. So it's a dual organization. Starting about 12 p.m. It's going to be in an industrial area, so you guys don't have to worry about. We don't have to worry about getting shut down. We got ample parking. We got a barbecue pit coming. A hot box barbecue will be there. To those of you that don't know about Texas barbecue, which I know a lot of you have, and so have I. Hot box barbecue will be there. We also got Roger. He's doing a win $100 of Roger's money.
Yeah.
He kicks down prizes for more like performance bonuses to like people who like say if it's a full uh, bracket in a base race and you come out the winner, kick you down $100. Um, we have a little bit of something for everybody. We got the freestyle competition that a lot of people are liking now. We got the globe ready to go, and just gonna have a good time. And the weather's gonna be a little bit cold, which for I don't know a lot of people that don't know, it is really perfect for SPL. So like the cooler temperatures. So if you want to go out there and bust, an extra couple of tenths higher than you normally would in the hot Texas summer, hey, come out to the show this weekend.
Yep. And for us up here in Sacramento, we are going to have a show at Lunsford Customs. Let's see. It says that's Sunday the 27th. It says a high of 64 degrees, which is
Ooh,
a
nice.
great day to be doing it. Let me just check and see if there's any wind real quick. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 a.m. Middle of the day. Oh, dude, no wind. 3 mile an hour winds all day long. So, for you guys that are interested, come on out to Lunsford Customs. That's over in the industrial section of town. We have a great time over there. Everything else, we start at 10 a.m. and brackets at noon. And by brackets at noon, that means you had to have already qualified. So please show up. We also have the top dog at the end, base race, beat the boss. So if you win your base race class, you have a chance to go against me and try and beat the boss for $10. Then we also have freestyle class, obviously, and top dog.
Hmm.
Top dog,
Yeah.
$5 of each entry goes to the winner of top dog. So that's you get a dog tag, you get a trophy, and you get cash. So top dog, we encourage people to participate in that. That's always a great time. But that's what we got going on right now. We've already started scheduling our shows for Northern California and Reno area. Josh Tay2 is going to be starting to do clinics out there in the Reno area. So thank you, Josh. He was watching earlier. I don't know if he still is. We are going to be doing, I got the date set for Reno. I'm just waiting for confirmation from the venue in Reno. As soon as we get that confirmation, we'll be adding those to the calendar. Nyman, for you guys that don't know, Nyman's doing much better. He's back at home now. He's still got to go to physical therapy and stuff. I'll be talking to him next week, hopefully, and see if we're going to start rescheduling the night shows at Nyman's again. Everybody loves those, and whether or not he's participating, he enjoys being part of them and running them. So look forward to talking to Nyman about that. Lunsford Customs, I already talked to Jay's Alarms. We're going to continue with the Friday night shows down in Fresno. I know Friday nights are not easy, but it's only once a month, and I think people were enjoying it, especially with. We're going to see if he's going to do the death match giveaway cash again.
Yeah.
That was a big hit last year.
What was
And
it like? For so many DBs, you get like a certain amount of money, right?
yeah, the
Pretty sick.
first one you got, I think, $2 a DB. The second one you got $3 a DB, and then the final one you got $4 a DB. So Ray Maestas went down there and showed up and showed out, and and truly, that stuff is what encouraged what we did at World Finals. Wayne was seeing those, and he's like, "Man, I missed that. I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back." Um, for people on the West Coast, I wouldn't so get your hopes up for a satellite location just this year. The only reason being is this the 25th anniversary for DB Drag, and I think Wayne's going to want to have it in one location and just do an outrageous spectacle. So I would say get your points, plan for it. It's usually the first, second, or third week of October. I know some people need to know way ahead of time and whatnot, but I do know it's going to be in October. It's in October every year. Uh, Quite often the second week, occasionally the first week of October. So I would really kind of plan around those 2 weeks. I'm not sure where it'll be in the country, if it'll be in the dead center or if it'll be on the East Coast or if it'll be in Vegas. We honestly don't know.
I'm down for Vegas.
I'm down. I mean, we've heard people on the East Coast say for years that if it was in Vegas, they would be there. I'd love for Wayne to put it in Vegas. I mean, Vegas is a $27 flight from my house. And he's bringing his setup, so I wouldn't have to tow trailer mine down there or nothing. And like I said, I think you guys. I mean, I'm sure Kyle can speak to this. When you met the guys from back east, they were just as cool as the guys out here, right? As far as friendly and
Yeah, absolutely. And if anything, I feel like the mellow nature of our competitors really put them at ease to actually kind of break the ice with us and have conversation with us because, there's always been this online, notion that, we hate them, they hate us. But when you come out here and we're spending more time barbecuing and shooting the shit and, most of those guys are drinking beers, then it puts folks at ease to say, you know what, I'll introduce myself. I see this guy's wearing a team such and such shirt. I've seen him online or seen his scores. Like, let me go introduce myself. So definitely.
no, and I promise you guys went back east. They are serious when they're in the lanes. They step out of the lanes. It's a little different. Um, it isn't the same atmosphere. It absolutely is not. But that means we can't. That doesn't mean we can't bring the West Coast atmosphere to World Finals with us. The Canadians used to do it every year, right? They brought Canada with them. Everybody's, Canada. They're the most friendliest people in the world, and they come down and they have a great time. I mean, even the Canadians we meet right at our events when they come down for Autorama or they came down for World Finals. Really nice guys. Um, so so we can bring it back out there to them, show them our version of a good time. They can show us their version of a good time. And, when you're face to face and facing somebody you've never seen before and getting to see the builds that you've never seen, those are the memories that you hold and they they stay with you a lot longer. So I would encourage everybody to get their points as soon as Wayne announces what they are, and let's take a train out to the wherever the World Finals is, and I would love to see 25, 30 people from the West Coast. I guarantee if he split it up this year, you would have saw at least 20 people from the East Coast come out here, and you probably would have seen it close to that go to the East Coast, right? I mean, we were gonna go back and forth, so. Anyway, it's awesome to see, and I appreciate you guys. I want to thank Kyle and Kris for being on here today. Thank you, guys.
Definitely.
Thank you, Kris. Good job. Kris is always a good time at the shows. He sits there, does his thing. I want to thank my co-host, Jeffrey Fernandez. Thank you for being with us. Thanks to Crossfire Car Audio providing with a t-shirt and a lanyard. So remember how to do this is you guys have until the 27th. Yes, Sunday the 27th to get in there on the YouTube subscribe and like the podcast, and we will do a drawing next week. And that'll be for a T-shirt and a lanyard. I'm gonna try and get these things a little bit bigger. Maybe try to get some speakers from some of these other manufacturers. I'm trying to talk to Trio, Danny Britton. For you people that don't know some of the old schools, John Henry, or I'm sorry, John Henry. Now that's going way back to like
way back.
B&K meters, and he's got stories to share with us. So looking forward to that. And then next week we are intending to have a guy from Oklahoma. He's starting up a new shop, and he wants to start hosting events up there in Oklahoma. So we got some big things coming up, and as the summer gets going again, we'll be talking about our shows and the cool stuff we see at the shows, and stuff like Kris coming out and hey, he beat Brian Nyman, world champion, at that show. Can't wait to start talking that kind of stuff. So anyway, final thoughts, anything else from you guys, Kris and Kyle?
Yeah, so all of your guys' followers of this show are very likely already following Sonic Effects and Boom and Audio. If they're not, I encourage them to do so. Also, for the guys out on the West Coast, give a follow on Facebook to MECA California. That's going to be Richard Pappeson's page. And IASCA California, that's going to be Ray Himley's page, to stay up to date on some of the other orgs out here. I've always felt that when all three orgs or all four orgs are going healthy, that's when the hobby is at its best. So let's keep all these shows rolling.
I agree with you 100%. We even had Ray and Mr. Papasan on here both to talk about their stuff. So I mean, we don't discourage, or we always encourage everybody to go to every possible show that works for them. Anything from you, Jeffrey?
Nope.
All right.
I hope to see you guys this weekend, and we're gonna have a good show on Monday.
Yep.
Next Monday.
Yep. And do something special at Jeffrey's and my show so we can have something to talk about on the podcast next week. Maybe a little magic smoke or something.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, once again, you can check us out on all the platforms: iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean. If I'm missing any that you guys listen to or I'm not available, please let me know, and I will get that on our list and make sure we're available for that. I will try and get these things uploaded tomorrow or tonight onto those audio-only formats. Remember, like and share. And if you can, and you already are subscribed to the YouTube channel, put a comment outside of the live feed. That helps the algorithm, along with liking it on there. So you got to be a subscriber and a like it, and that will put you in the drawing for the T-shirt and lanyard for next week. All right, guys, once again, I'd like to thank you guys for coming in. Next week, we'll be on here again Monday night at 6 p.m. California time. Like I always say, the California time is the only time that matters. Much as Jeffrey doesn't like that. No.
Central time.
It's the only time that matters. But please join us again next week. We'll be here with our guest from Oklahoma. And like I said, we're trying to get Fakuda on here. We're trying to get, I'm telling you, I'm trying for some old big names to talk about the old days and some of the cool stuff that we've done. So, all right, guys. Once again, we'll see you guys next week, Monday night, back here on This Week in Car Audio. Have a good night.